So first off, we've got the federal government's incentives. And of course, the first homeowner grant has been around for some time. It's well established. It is actually a federal government incentive, but it is, I guess, put out there or administered by the state governments. So the basics of it are that one person must be an Australian citizen or permanent resident. They can't have owned a home before, therefore the first homeowner part, and they have to live in the property for a continuous period of 12 months. So in the first 12 months. In most states, it's 6 months within the first 12 months.
And this is the thing, isn't it? It's one of the reasons
here's the exception to the rule.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the reasons we're doing this episode, is because it's so complicated. And you get sort of the federals dictating one thing and then the states actually administer it differently. So in one version or another, they've got to live in it for a period of time. It could be 12, it could be 6, but also in some states you could move in on the 364th day of the first year as long as you live in it for 6 months.
Yeah. So the continuous period with most states is 6 months, but it has to be within the first 12 months that you move in. So that begs the question, Veronica, what if you buy a property, great property, you really like it, you can afford it, but it's got tenants in it?
Yes. And so Megan, of course, you have a property management business. You know,
I'll take that one then, shall I?
Well, I was about to say you can dovetail me. You definitely should take this. But it's interesting. I'm going to say that if a tenant's in a lease, then you've got no guarantees that you're going to be able to remove them from that property in order to get access to move into the property. But there will be some agents that say, oh, don't worry, we can incentivize the tenants to move out, which could you might end up spending your entire grant incentivizing those tenants to move out.
To get out. And look, that's exactly right. So the lease, the contractual obligations on the owner survives change of ownership. So if there's a lease in place, then the tenant retains all of their rights under that lease until the end of their lease. It is possible to incentivise a tenant to move out earlier, but that's only by mutual agreement, and the tenant can absolutely say no. So what happens with the first homeowner grant is if there is a lease in place, it is okay for that lease to run its course, but you cannot renew the lease. So that means you can't then turn it into an investment property. It has to be the first homeowner moving in the principal place of residence as soon as the lease expires. So it is okay for there to be a tenant in place, but you cannot renew the lease.
Which is sort of interesting because a lot of times when a property is being offered for sale with a tenant in place, if it's a long lease, it doesn't appeal to a lot of people because they want to move in, forgetting whether they're trying to get a grant or not. They actually want to move in. And often the rents, they may not cover the mortgage as well. They feel like they're paying out of their pocket. It's waiting to move into their home. So, but that can actually mean sometimes you get a good deal.
Yeah. Well, I think at the moment we're not seeing a lot of investors in the marketplace. We're seeing a lot of first home buyers, and I'm talking about November, December to 2020. Things could change very quickly in 2021, but it does depend. Certainly when we advise investors about selling their property, it is better for it to be vacant because you have a greater pool of people who might be able to access it. And of course, it's easier if someone wants to move in to have a vacant property.
Absolutely. And also it's, generally better presented.